Hey there, creepy peeps, and welcome to another new movie review. Today, of course, we are talking about The Nun. Really quick though, before I get into anything else, I want to say thank you to my creepy patron peeps for your support of my channel. Thank you so much. If you want to find out the perks to being a creepy patron peep, you can follow that link in the description. Directed by Corin Hardy and starring Taissa Farmiga and Demian Bashir, The Nun follows a young novitiate and a priest who are sent to a cloistered abbey in Romania where a nun took her own life. When they arrive, they discover that a demon who has taken the form of a nun inhabits the abbey. So The Nun is the 5th movie in the Conjuring universe, the 3rd spin-off so far. And it's no surprise to anybody if you saw Annabelle Creation, which I think most of you did because it was very popular, and if you even saw the trailer, because they did actually mention it in one of the trailers for The Nun, this is the first chronologically in the franchise. Now let's get into what I liked about The Nun. This may surprise people. I actually liked some things about The Nun. I mean, for one, I've mentioned this a few times before, Valak scares the crap out of me, so I was pretty excited to see a whole movie dealing with Valak in some way. Part of what I think worked really well for the movie is kind of how old it felt. I don't know if it's a spoiler to give away what decade this movie takes place in, so I guess I just won't say it. Obviously it's before all the other Conjuring movies, so you can guess, I guess. Whenever I see a movie that has to deal with like pagan demonic things or like Christian demonic things, there's something very like ancient about both of those practices because they're both extremely old. Like when I see a scary movie that has to do with either of those things in the demonic sense, it's very scary because you just get this sense that it's like a very old evil, an ancient evil that's been around for a long time, and for whatever reason that's very scary to me, almost kind of like it's just been lying in wait somewhere, like it's always been in the world and you just haven't known about it until this particular moment. And I don't know what it is about that, but that's pretty scary, and I think that was a huge theme in the movie, or at least that's what I picked up on it. I also felt like the score definitely added to kind of like that ancient feel in the movie. It was, I can't imitate it because they use a lot of very deep male voices. I don't know if they were altered in any way to be deeper, but just deep male voices, and they pretty much ended up becoming Valak's theme. So whenever the demon Valak was on screen, you heard this particular I wouldn't even call it a melody, you just heard this particular piece of the score, and it just paired so well with her creepy silhouette. And yeah. If you saw the movie, you know what I'm talking about, but I think every time I see her now, I'm gonna hear that music in my head. Now let's get into what I didn't like. I thought the dialogue was a bit weird at times. I don't know, without giving anything away, there is an additional character besides the novitiate and the priest, and he's kind of the comedic relief, and it just kind of felt out of place in this movie. Like, yes, there are bits of comedy in the other Conjuring movies, but for whatever reason, this one just felt like the movie just felt darker, more gothic. I don't want to say more serious, but it just felt darker, and I just didn't feel the need for any comedic relief. I didn't really want any comedic relief. I think it would have been nice just to have it completely serious and have it be scary in that way, and I don't think we needed the comedy. Right, these next two quick little things that I didn't like about the movie are spoiler territory, so there's going to be a little mute icon here in the bottom of the screen, so when you see that guy go away, you can unmute it and there will be no more spoilers. A lot of people have been saying this about the movie. They felt like The Nun was in there way too much. Like Valak was there way too much. So by the end of the movie, you weren't actually very scared of Valak because you've seen it's a demon, I don't know. You've seen it a million times already at the point in the movie, which I think was, yeah, that was a tricky situation that they set up for themselves making this movie, because obviously Valak was in Conjuring 2 for a little bit, and Valak scared a whole lot of people, and that's why they decided to do the spin-off. But we were already kind of familiar with Valak, and I kind of think the way, so when I heard there was going to be like a spin-off for The Nun, I was thinking in my head, I was like, oh, I hope it's kind of like how Valak came to be, and not just a scary movie full of Valak. Which they kind of explain how Valak came to be, but they just explain it. By the time the movie starts and everything, Valak is already a thing. It's been a thing for a long time. I think that was kind of their downfall. I think they should have created some sort of like origin story. And the way they mentioned it in Annabelle made me think it was gonna be like an actual nun that was possessed by the demon, not a demon that takes the form of a nun to fit in. So I think it should have been more like the struggle, like maybe like Thaisa Farmiga's character or something like that. She gets possessed by the nun and then she becomes the Valak that we see in The Conjuring 2. I think that would have worked better, and it would have meant less of the nun in the movie, because that would have been something that at the end of the movie, you know, she is unveiled as the nun that we know. And I think that might have helped. I hate trying to be like, here's how you should have made your movie, but that's just my take on it. I also thought the very ending clip, where they show the clip from Conjuring 1 when Ed and Lorraine Warren are giving that class, it's revealed now that that was supposed to be a character in the movie, Frenchie, and that's like kind of like another connector between, you know, the other movies in the Conjuring universe. But they edited the dialogue to make it seem like Ed had said he's a potato farmer. They called him Frenchie, and and I think, if I remember correctly, the original line in The Conjuring, way back in the first movie, he just said he was a potato farmer, and he didn't know, like he was making his point that he didn't know Latin. And he actually says the person on the screen was a potato farmer. It's just the tiniest little thing that I don't think they needed to add in. They called him Frenchie. I just feel like movies nowadays are, well, movies kind of always have assumed, you know, audiences are pretty stupid, or they are going for the lowest common denominator. Like, I just feel like little things like that are super annoying, because they're like spoon feeding it to you, and it's almost like they feel like that you're not gonna get it unless you literally spell it out for them. And I just think like 2 scenes earlier, they say Frenchie is gonna be a potato farmer, and then you cut to this scene, a potato farmer, and then you're like, oh, it was Frenchie the whole time. I think audiences would have figured it out. And I just kind of hate seeing that, because it's like, and it left the movie on a sour taste for me, because I was like, well, they think I'm pretty stupid and I wasn't gonna understand that. Go away, little mute button. We're done with the spoiler talk. Oh, was The Nun worth it? Despite everything I said I didn't like, I'm gonna say sure that it was a little bit worth it, and just let me make my case here. I think it met all of my expectations for a Conjuring universe film. I like all of the other Conjuring movies. I think they're all okay. They don't blow me away. I don't love any of the movies. I don't think I've given any of them lower than a 3 out of 5. But again, I don't think I've given any of them a 5 out of 5 either. So I was like, obviously knowing this was a Conjuring spin-off, I was expecting certain things. I got those certain things, and Valak scares me. So, you know, I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5. It was just like all the other Conjuring universe movies for me. I've skimmed through some other people's reviews and I don't know, maybe it's just like going over my head. Maybe everyone else is like so much smarter than me or something. Like, I kind of don't understand why this spin-off in particular is getting so much hate. But whatever, everyone is entitled to their own opinion. I just didn't see that. On IMDb, it has a 6.2 out of 10. On Rotten Tomatoes, it has a 28% critic score and a 52% audience score. And on Letterboxd, it has a 2.4 out of 5. So if you've seen The Nun this past weekend, let me know in the comment section down below what you thought about it, and just be wary of spoilers if you want to talk specifics about the film. I do hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new here and become a Creepy Peep today. I post videos Monday through Friday, and you can ring that notification bell down there to be notified every time I post a video. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, stay strange. Bye!